In this video, I'm going to walk through the exact creative framework that we've built and iterated over time after spending millions upon millions in ad spend. And this framework is now exactly what we use for every single client that comes on board for our marketing agency. And at this point of recording this, we've got over 100 active clients that we're using this exact framework for right now at this very moment. And in this video, I'm going to hand it to you on a silver platter, okay? Gold platter, actually. This shit's good. So let's jump into it, all right? I'm going to go through three things here. Number one is the actual structure itself. Step-by-step specific structure. Then I'm going to go through our exact creative testing framework, which you can see right here. And I'm also going to go through a bunch of examples showing you a good example of it and a couple bad examples that I've just found on my Facebook feed here. And I'm going to show you a great example of it, which is one of our ads that we're running for right now. So let's jump into it. The structure. You always want to start with the market call out. Now, the market call out can come in two forms. You can either call out the characteristics of the market, or you can call out based on the problem of the market. So what would be an example of each? An example of the first one would be, if you are a X person with X problem, then I will go into the second part, which is the offer, right? So, in my case, I call out marketing agencies above 25K a month who need more qualified sales calls. That's my market call out. And that's literally wants to be the first words out of your mouth. By the way, this is more of a video ad framework than it is an image ad framework, because for our offers and the offers that we run ads for with our clients, with marketing agencies and coaches and high ticket coaches, and we have a couple high ticket SaaS clients as well. We've just always found videos that massively outperform images bar none, right? So just to mention that it's a video framework, not an image framework. Now, the characteristics, as I say, would be just literally calling out the market themselves, right? If you are X person. So this can also work for e-com, right? Like if you have a product for women above 50, then you need to be a little careful with compliance in that instance. But, you would want to call out, if you're a woman above 50 with 2 kids, listen up, right? Call out the exact market. The other angle you've got is problem-based, right? So if you need more qualified sales calls, listen up, right? That's the problem. It's like you need more qualified sales calls. I don't have enough qualified sales calls. Or another angle would be, if you have a higher than 10% churn rate on your SaaS product, on your SaaS offer, in your SaaS company, listen up, right? That would be like a kind of like a problem-based call out. Or even, just a much broader angle. This probably won't work as well because it's kind of too broad, but this could be another angle is, if you can't close any deals above a $2,000 price tag, this is for you. However you want to end it, right? So they're the two angles. You've got the actual, if you're this person, listen up, or you've got, if you have this problem, listen up. So it's like, if you are trying to get a higher vertical in your basketball jump, right? Or whatever it is, right? That would be a problem. Okay. Now, I'm not calling out, hey, if you are 20 years old and play basketball, that would be an example of the first example, the characteristics, right? So from there, you want to then go into the offer, all right? So you call out the market. Again, first words out your mouth in the creative needs to be exactly who you're talking to. Then you go straight into the offer. Now, the offer wants to be built off the back of the market's pre-existing desire. So you never want to create desire in any market. You want to use the existing desire and channel that into your offer. Meaning, any industry you're going after, you want to look at, what do these people naturally want? If I was to speak to this market and say, hey, what do you want? What would they tell me? And whatever they tell you, that's what you want to build your offer off the back of. You don't want to have to create desire. So like, for example, if, I go to the agency market, marketing agencies, they all want qualified sales calls and clients. That's what they want. I'm not then going to try and run an ad that sells them on the idea of wanting to get more leads, because they don't want more leads. They want more qualified sales calls and more clients. But I'm not going to try and sell them on like, here's why you should want more leads. No. I'm just going to go straight to the client or straight to the sales call, right? This is also really important, and not many people understand this. And it's so important to understand. This is why you should always make your offer work for ads, not make ads work for your offer. It sounds like a very minute detail there, but it's so important. And honestly, this is what changed the entire trajectory of our company scale clients. I restructured our entire fulfillment to make it work on ads. And if you don't do this, you're super delusional, okay? If you try and force ads to work for your offer, okay, it's really important. So what I mean by that again is, look at, what does the market want? Okay, what does the market want? Okay, they want this. Can I provide that? No. Well, how can I figure out how to provide that? That's what the answer needs to be. It's not, okay, well, I can't provide that. Well, what I can provide is this. Okay, let me run an offer to that then. Because the market didn't want that. And then that's why ads, most of the time for most people, don't work. Because they're trying to make ads work for their offer, right? But instead, you need to change the offer so that it just works on ads. It's just much easier, all right? So again, the basic framework here, you probably, if you've watched any of my videos before, you know this, it's super simple. The basic offer framework that we always use is, we'll guarantee you X in tea time or risk reversal. One of ours that we're running right now is, we'll guarantee you 15 new clients per month for the next 3 months consecutively, or you don't pay. That's the full offer. So now we're at a point where you might be 10 seconds into the ad and you've called out exactly who you want. So in our case, marketing agencies above 25K a month, we'll guarantee you 15 new clients per month for the next 3 months consecutively, or you don't pay, and I'll send you 3K on top for wasting your time. That's actually our offer. right? You're 10 seconds in. Okay. Now what you want to do is this next section here is optional, but we do it in some ads and it works really well. So what this is basically without clauses. Now what a without clause is essentially the reason you'd use this is to increase curiosity by eliminating everything the prospect has either tried in the past and or eliminating everything that they think they need to do to get the result. So what might this look like? Well, again, if you're an agency, I'm just using us as an example because I know our market really well. If you're an agency, what you might be trying right now to get clients is email outreach, maybe cold calls, and probably referrals. They're like three main sources that most people try and use, or like cold DM outreach, right, on like Instagram or whatever. So I might say, hey, I'll guarantee you 15 new clients without you just sending any cold emails, relying on any referrals, doing cold DMs or cold calling. And so what that does is I've just now eliminated everything that you think you need to do to get clients. And so if I say, hey, you don't need to do anything that you think you need to do, naturally, you're going to listen a little more to the ad because you're curious. I'm like, okay, well, I thought these 4 things were the only things I needed to do to get clients. Now you're telling me I don't need to do any of those. What do I need to do, right? And so that's going to hook you in a little more to watch the ad, right? And again, that's not always the case. You don't always have to do that, but it can definitely help with curiosity, increasing curiosity. Okay. And then what you want to do is go into reason why / how it works. So what does this refer to? Well, here you really want to answer the question of why is your approach exponentially better than every other option? Okay. And you want to explain why what they're currently trying isn't working and how this is different. That's what you want to do in this instance. Another way to do this is to also logically explain how the process works, because after logically explaining how something works, you can install into the prospect the idea of, yeah, that makes sense. And as soon as you make your prospect think, yeah, that makes sense, every single time they will click the ad. They'll book in a call. They'll do whatever the action is when they can logically see 2 + 2 is 4. Yeah, that makes sense. You know what I mean? Every single time. And so here, this kind of speaks to like the mechanism. Essentially, as I said before, though, it's really just why is this better than every other option? So if you've got a marketing agency, obviously whatever market you're running ads to, that market would have either worked with other agencies in the past, or at least they've seen other agency offers, or they've tried maybe you do Facebook ads for whoever, chiropractors or med spas or whatever it is. It's like, well, why is the way in which you run Facebook ads better than every other option that they've tried in the past or every other solution they've tried in the past? Why is it better? And again, here, you don't want to go too deep into exactly like the ins and outs of everything, but you do want to speak to that just like one, typically with every agency, there's like one thing that you do that hooks people in. So for example, AI is on a huge trend right now. Everyone's obsessed with it. Some of the easiest ways to quickly hook the market in and quickly just capture attention is saying, you have some kind of like AI enabled agency or AI enabled deliverables, right? Which basically means you use AI in your deliverables. Super simple. And that can work really well. Okay. So here, again, you just want to explain how it works. Then you want to go into proof. So proof, everybody knows about this, right? Proof or results. So here, basically, famous case studies is always really powerful. Famous endorsements is also really powerful. One of our clients he's like one of the only companies in the world to be endorsed by Tony Robbins. And so we just lead with that in the ad and it crushes it. Client results, another one. Obviously, that's just like one of our clients did XYZ, super basic. And then also a personal track record. This is huge. Another one of our clients, he has an offer for subscription software businesses. And his personal track record is really just what we lead with in the ad primarily. That's like all we focus on, because his personal track record is he's been involved in $500 million worth of exits in Silicon Valley. Like huge, right? And we just literally lead with that in the ad and it does tremendously well. And I don't even think we have any client results in there. We just use his own personal track record and it crushes it. It's like I'll show you in this example here and I'll give you in a minute. One of the first things I lead with is actually my personal track record. And again, performs tremendously well. So here, it's just really proving your point to be true, because anyone can say, they can do XYZ. Anyone can guarantee you some type of result, but there's very few who can back it up, right? With just undeniable proof. And if you can do that, you really want to, because that's how you're going to stand out in the market, right? And then obviously CTA at the end, super basic. You want to recall out the market, restate the offer, and then direct the prospect to the next action. Now, I want to get into this creative testing framework because I promise you've not seen this anywhere else. However, before I do that, I do want to show you a couple of examples here. So the first one I'll show you is our exact ad, one of them that we're running right now. So, and you'll see this exact framework play out. Let me play this real quick.
If you run a marketing agency about 25K a month.
Okay, straight away, call the market out.
Listen up. This paid ads funnel right here took my marketing agency from 50K a month to 400K a month in less than 12 months. And I've installed this same funnel into your marketing agency and it doesn't generate you 15 new clients per month for the next 3 months consecutively, entirely done for you, then you literally don't pay. And I'll send you 3K on top just for wasting your time. And in fact, instead of me...
Okay, so that was basically a bit of like a merge between the market call out, the offer, and then I also embedded a result in the offer as well, which can also work really well. So what I'm doing there is basically installing the idea of predictability, meaning in the offer, instead of me just going straight into the offer, I used something and then I tied that to a result. And then I said, and this same thing will get you this result. So what did I do specifically? I said, if you're marketing agency above 25K a month, this paid ads funnel. So I'm getting like something, right? You could say, Alex Becker did this amazingly well with High Roads. He got a USB stick and I can't remember exactly what it was, but he said like this thing got this result and I'll guarantee it will do this same thing for you when I plug it into your business or something like that, right? So he's tying a result to this USB stick in his instance. In my example there, I did it with I said this paid ads funnel, I showed it on the screen, right? This paid ads funnel got this result. And I said, it took my marketing agency from 50K a month to 400K a month. So not only there am I naturally positioning myself as higher than anyone else in the market because not many people can say they've got a 400K a month marketing agency. So I used a personal track record. And then I also said it was all from this one paid ads funnel. So now the market or the prospect is putting that paid ads funnel on a pedestal. They're like, oh, this thing has got this result. And then I'm saying, and I'll use that same thing to get you this result. And what's really key there is that I almost downsell the outcome. So I'm saying, you know, this thing, right? Let's use this chapstick thing here. This got me this huge result, 50K to 400K in less than 12 months, which is true. And I show proof of that when I pop up the Stripe thing. It got this huge result. This thing got this huge result. And I'll guarantee it will get you this little thing. But because I set the guarantee up with a bigger result, it makes the believability of the guarantee a lot higher. Because it's like this paid ads funnel generated 400K a month. I guarantee it will generate you 20K a month. I don't say 20K a month, I say the 15 clients, but just as a comparison, this generates 400K a month. And I'll guarantee you it will generate you just 20K a month. It's like, of course it will get 20K a month if it can get 400K a month. It's so much more believable. And again, I use clients, but you get the comparison, right? So that's really powerful, and that's one of the reasons why this ad does so well. Okay, so just so you know a bit of backstory in that. But again, you see that, right? Market call out, straight into the offer. Now I'm going to go straight into the results. And what's also important here to know is that the reason why it works / how it works, I kind of do that through the results here. You'll see how that plays out here in a minute.
Let me just telling you this funnel works. Let me just show you instead. So here's one of our clients, Jason. Last month he did 136K in cash collected, all directly from our ads. And he has 6 deals pending. And this month we're shooting for an extra 200K in new client retainers. Here's another client, Erica, where last week she closed 60K directly from our ads. And this is obviously monthly recurring revenue. And this month we're on pace to double her agency, again, just from the ads we're running for her. Here's another client who in the first week of this month closed 4 deals, which resulted in 36K in new client retainers from only $2,300 in total ad spend. Another client here, you can see Keith closed a new 10K per month client. Liz here closed 3 clients just yesterday. She has a 10K per month offer, so that's 30K new client retainers closed. And you can actually see she messaged through today and she's just closed another one today, so that's 40K in new client retainers in the past 2 days for Liz. And then here's another client where we spent 32K so far for them. We've booked 254 qualified sales calls at $125 cost per qualified booked call.
Okay, so that was the result section. 2 things to notice. Number 1 is how transparent I am with the results. So the more transparency you can add onto your proof, the better. Because essentially the proof, you want to structure the proof to where it's undeniable. You can't say that it's fake. You logically cannot say that that's not true. Because you're like, dude, like there's the proof. Like how can you argue that 2 + 2 is 4, right? So you want to provide the evidence so that they can't argue it. It's inarguable proof, okay? So that's why I did that. I literally just showed client Slack channels. So that's super, that's one of the things that makes that result section so much more powerful. And the reason why I spent so much time on that, the ad is 120. We're at 116. So the majority of the ad is just me going through that result section. And the reason why is because in my market specifically, so many people can't get results, right? In terms of like my competition, they're not competition because we just, you know, are so much better than them. But anyway, my competition, like people who sell courses or people who have, you know, like we don't have a course, right? We have an agency, we have a service-based business, right? But other people who offer my market services, they're so bad that like no one has any crazy proof. Like some people have a proof where it's like, one of our clients, you know, got to 10K a month, right? So like, just bitch, to be honest. And so with us, you know, when it comes to this point of like reason why it works or how it works, what I focus on is just our results, because by the very nature of me explaining our results, they're so big, right? One of our clients did 136K cash collected last month from 0, right? From our ads. Another client did this. The results are so big that just by extension of me explaining the results, that kind of in the prospect's mind, in a way, not directly, but in a way, it explains that it works and why it works, right? Not why it works in terms of the inner workings of like, you know, this and then we do this and then we do this and then we do this, that's another angle that I could test. I could just show that here's why it works, right? Just look at the results and you can't deny it, right? And so long story short, that's that, right? That's really the main part of the ad, is just me explaining all those results. And now I'll go into the CTA, which is literally, as you can see here, 4 seconds, super basic. So if that interests you,
click the link right below this video, opt in on the next page and book a call. If you were to
super simple, right? So there I didn't actually recall out the market, but I did say, so if that interests you, click the link below, opt in on the next page and book a call. That's it. Now, obviously, this is just one ad and this is one variation. We currently have like, I don't know how many ads we've got running, 86 ads running. So we have a lot of different variations and whatnot. And so my point is that this structure here works tremendously well, but it's not obviously exactly word for word the same structure in every single ad. That's why we got so many ads running. I was going to show you another example, but I'll just leave that. I'll go straight into this now. So that's the structure. Now, as I say, we've got 86 ads running right now. And so one of the keys to getting really good results with ads is creative testing. And this is the framework that we've used, again, across our 100+ active clients that we have. And after spending millions on ads, this is the framework that we've really built that's allowing us to just scale clients so crazily well. I mean, you just saw that ad there with some of our client results. Like, we get the best client results that I've ever seen. A lot of it is because of this framework right here in terms of what we do on the back end for clients when we're actually testing their ads and whatnot. And again, this doesn't need to be for service-based businesses either. You can use this for e-com. You can use this for any ads that you run that have creatives. This works. So here is the basic framework of how we go about our testing creation process as well. So what we'll do is we'll start, zoom in here. So we'll start on the left-hand side here with obviously just ideas, right? We need to create the concepts of the ads. Now, this will stem from ideas, just general ideas that we have, and also ideas that we get fed from winning ads, which you'll see that ties into here in a minute. Like, we always use winning ads as a basis for new ideas for new ads, right? Then we also have this testing matrix, which I won't show you because it's got some like personal client stuff in there, but the testing matrix basically, it's got ideas down the side and it's got ideas across the top, right? Well, it's got angles at the top, so it's like angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, and then down the side we've got prompts. And then what we can do is look at that matrix, right? It's like maybe a 6x6 matrix or whatever. We'll look at that matrix and then we'll look at, okay, these are all of our prompts, and then we've got different angles that we can create for each prompt. And so then from there we can just kind of like, it just gets the creative juices flowing, for example, right? And then from there what we'll do is we'll create 5 controls and we'll create 5 variations. So what does this look like? Well, a control is an angle. So for example, with us, one of our angles is we'll guarantee you 90 qualified sales calls per month or you don't pay. That's one offer that we have, and that's an angle. Another angle would be we'll guarantee you 15 clients per month or you don't pay. Okay. Another angle would be we'll guarantee you 15 clients through using one of our internal AI enabled ad creatives. For example, that's an angle, all right? And then another angle might be, we'll guarantee 15 clients. Maybe that angle in that ad is what I just showed you there, which is really why I just focus on results. It's like, here's why we can guarantee this because of all these results. That's another angle. So they're different angles. Can you see how they're very different from each other, right? The question then becomes, what's a variation? Well, a variation would be, in that example of the AI-enabled creative, I actually really like that. You might see an ad of that next week. But in that angle, right, AI-enabled creatives, as an example. Well, a variation of that angle would be this AI-enabled creative generated one of our clients $400K a month in less than 12 months. And here's how it works. That's one variation, right? Another variation would be, if you're a marketing agency above 25K a month, I'll guarantee you 15 clients through using one of our internal and AI-enabled creatives. So that's another variation. It's the same angle though, because we're both angles. We're talking about the same idea. I'm just expressing the same idea in a different way. That's kind of how you want to be thinking about controls or angles versus variations. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. And by the way, this here basically means 5 controls plus 5 variations per control, okay? So now what I've just done is, through using these ideas at the start here, plus these angles, okay, and the variations of the angles, now we've just created 25 different ads, okay? Now, if you wanted to use this for your clients, this is exactly what you would use. If you wanted to do this on your own though, obviously here where it says client to record, that would just be on you to record. Simple as that, right? That's the only difference. So now you send these concepts to the client, or you can also send them to UGC to get the UGC to create them. And what's cool about this is that if you have multiple faces per script, okay, as I said before, you have 5 controls and 5 variations per control. That's 25 different concepts. If you get 4 different faces to say those same ads, now you've got 100 different ads from only really 5 controls that you had to create. And then each variation of per control is pretty simple to create. You just express, as I said before, express the same idea in a different way. That's relatively easy. And so this is how you can start to think, as I said before, right? Creatives are so important to basically add results. I mean, I would say like 80% of, it's really like the 80-20 rule, right? Like 80% of the results comes from the creatives. And so the goal is, how can we create as many creative variations as possible? Well, by doing this, it's super simple to create a bunch of different variations, all right? So we do that, client record, UGC to record. Then from there, we send that to the clients or the actors, and then we get the raw files from the client or the actors. Then we'll send that to the editing team. Okay. Then the editing team will take sort of 1 or 2 days. We have an internal editing team who does all of our clients' stuff. 1 or 2 days. And then from there, we'll put that into our creative CRM. You know how you have like a sales CRM? We have a creative CRM for all of our clients, right? And then from the creative CRM, then we'll start to roll out tests basically in the ad platform. In this case, we use Facebook. Now, what you then want to do is then we launch with the 4 to 5 different controls. I say 1 to 2 weeks here. It really doesn't matter the time frame. It's obviously all dependent on budget. Typically, we'll let things run to sort of 2 to 3x ideal CPA. And the CPA is not necessarily referred to a cost per client acquisition. It might be, we might base CPA based off of cost per book call. So like, what's the ideal cost per acquisition of a booked call, right? I'll probably say we lean on more on 3 to 4x ideal CPA. So if we have a $100 ideal cost per book call, we might let that spend between sort of 250 and 400, depending on earlier metrics. If the cost per clicks are way out of whack, then we're not going to let that run. But if cost per click looks good, opt-in, cost per lead looks good, all those earlier metrics, leading metrics look good, then we might leave the lagging indicator of like the book call. We might let that spend a little more than what we'd like, just because the leading metrics look good. All right. Now, after a couple of days, maybe it's 1 or 2 weeks, depending on the volume of ad spend that we've got. Then we obviously want to look at the metrics. Are we in KPI? Are we out of KPI? If we're out of KPI, we'll obviously cut it, and then we'll update the CRM, which is this here, with why it didn't perform. Like, what was the problem? Okay, because if you have all these different creatives, you need to make sure that you're logging them, right? You need to make sure that you're reporting on them correctly in terms of letting other people know on the team why this didn't work, why this worked, why this didn't work, right? And then from there, when you go and create new creatives, you can look at that and go, oh, that didn't work because that call out wasn't that great, or whatever it might have been, right? So you always want to be making sure that you're logging why things worked and why things didn't. And then what you want to do, obviously, that's the losers you'll cut, winners you'll scale. Nice and simple. Now, again, with the winners, you also want to make sure that you're updating the creative pipeline with why something works. So why something didn't work is important to know, but also why did something work? Because then why something worked, you can then make more variations on that, right? And then also what we do at the end of each week is the winners. As I say, we can create new variations with the winners. Okay, so you can see here. So we have this like variations of winning ads. So any winning ad, you can do 3 to 5 variations of the winning ad. And 3 to 5, again, as I say, is just really a placeholder. One winning ad can produce so many more variations that it's really not that hard to create as many creatives as possible, right? So based on the winning ad, you can look at 3 to 5 variations of the first 3 lines of copy, right? So if you have one piece of ad copy that's working really well, what are 3 to 5 other variations we can create based on that piece of copy? Because we know the control of the copy is good. Well, what are other ways that we can squeeze extra juice out of this first 3 lines, right? Same thing with the first 3 to 5 variations of the first 5 seconds. Same thing. The hook of the winning ad is working, so create different ways of saying the same thing, as I said before. Different creative banners, different Facebook headlines, different editing styles. So sound effects, music versus no music, editing style, Hormozy versus graphic heavy style, different faces, same thing. So like if you go back to this, so like this ad here, right? This is a banner. So I could do a different wording in this banner. I could change this, you don't pay, from red to green, right? There's different editing variation styles, okay? And then that would then become, as you can see here, this then goes back into your concepts. You create new concepts, send to the client, or you would do it yourself if it was just you. And then you go back through the whole process. You can see how it's like an upward spiral kind of flywheel effect, right? Then the winners, you can then use the winners as controls for audience tests. So this is also really important. When you've got winning creatives, you can then from there basically go ahead and use those winning creatives as controls to test new audiences. So this is, again, when you scale, you need to be as prolific as possible. You don't want to be scaling and put all your money on red, right? And just put it on like one campaign and just hope that one campaign works. You want to spread out across as many things as possible. And so you've got all of these different tests that you can do. And there's a bunch of different things that you can do here, like in terms of lookalikes and all these different things. So as I say, you can test new audiences, and then the winners as well. You can kind of break down the winners based on placements, age ranges, countries, bidding types, ABO versus CBO, bid caps, all of these other different things. And you can also use these winning ads as well as controls for new funnel formats. So maybe you have a VSL right now, you want to test a DSL, which is a different type of funnel format. Maybe you want to test a straight to calendar. You can do whatever it is. And then if the new test doesn't work, you know that it's whatever variable you change, because you know that the creatives have been proven before. That's why you want to have those as controls, right? And then from the winners, obviously the winners can then, the insights on why those winners worked, you can then use those insights to create new ideas, new concepts, new ads, and you test it and you go back through the whole process. So that's a kind of like a very broad overview. And I think the one thing that I didn't mention here is with the winners as well, we always send an end of week editing performance report to our editing team so that the editing team, they have clear insight on what ads are working and what ads aren't from an editing perspective. Okay. So we'll say, this ad flopped, and then they can see that you can go back to the ad, look at how it was edited. And then you can say this ad worked really well, go back to the ad, see how it was edited. And then obviously then as clients send in more creatives and more stuff through the pipeline, they can kind of instinctively know what type of editing styles to use and what not, and all that type of stuff. So that's the only other thing I don't think I mentioned. Okay. So that's basically the overall structure in terms of the creation process of these ads. Hopefully that made sense. And obviously, as always, any questions you have, let me know. And by the way, if you want access to this doc right here, then comment the word creatives in the comment section below. I'm happy to send this over to you, no problem. And as I say, with that being said, I'll see you in the next video.